idealistic, and he had been a cynical, cantankerous man. He still was, he knew that. They had formed a great duo, each playing off the other's strengths, not afraid to express an opinion of the other, not above sarcasm. "What about him?" Tremaine replied. It was after 11 in the evening, and he and Jean had returned from a night out at the cinema in Salisbury, a movie she had liked, but which he thought inane. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, girl dies. At least that's what he remembered. And Jean had not been pleased when his eyes had closed after 25 minutes, and at the first mushy scene he had started to snore. "You embarrass me," she had said at the time, but afterwards in the bonhomie of a pub, he with a pint of beer, she with a glass of wine, the two had laughed about him in the cinema. And besides, she knew how hard her husband worked, the hours he put in, and the stress that came with his job as the senior investigating officer in homicide. "He's dead," Claire said. "In town." "Very well," Tremaine replied as he raised himself from his chair. "Where is he?" "The corner of Silver Street and Minster Street, the Poultry Cross. Just up from the Haunch of Venison." "Your just the address." "I thought the pub would have helped you. You're good at pubs." If he hadn't been tired and ready for bed, he would have come up with a suitable reply to his sergeant's sarcasm. However, he couldn't, but he'd remember, get her back in the future. Even so, he couldn't help but smile. "No, you don't," Jean said as he grabbed his coat. "Not until you've wrapped a scarf around your neck." "It's important, we've got to go." "Claire's more than capable of dealing with it until you're there. After all, you trained her." Tremaine knew that complaining wasn't going to help. With reluctance, although appreciative of the love of a good woman, he sat and waited for the hot drink she prepared for him, downing it in one go. "Satisfied?" he said. "Not really, but barring a guard outside the door, you intend to go. Don't blame me if you come back with a cold." "I won't," Tremaine said. But even if he did, Jean would be there with medicine and an electric blanket on the bed. At the scene, a diminishing crowd of onlookers, as some of them sobered up and wanted to get back home. "What's the situation?" Tremaine asked. "It looked like he was just sitting here," Claire said. She had been hoping for a quiet night as well. After all, it had not been long since she found out she was pregnant, and her husband, Clive, had gone into the fussing and fretting mode, waiting on her hand and foot. She had to admit to enjoying the attention, but it wasn't necessary. And then there was the issue of her mother wanting to come to Salisbury, knowing full well that mother and daughter had a testy relationship, and that Clive, magnanimous, generous, and courteous with everyone else, found her mother trying, always wanting to stick her nose in. Claire looked forward to checking out the shops, buying a cot, and organising the baby's bedroom, although she wasn't sure what decor to choose, not wanting to know the gender before the birth. "You can't deny he's been murdered," Claire said. Tremaine had noticed the signs as soon as he had arrived, the bulging eyes and a wax-like appearance. "Someone must have seen something." "He was frail and wouldn't have put up much of a fight." "Even so, the Medal of Salisbury. There's always someone walking around or driving past." "Those walking could have been half drunk, and for those driving by, what would they have seen? There's a light fog, their vision wouldn't have been that clear, probably focusing more on the road than a homeless man sitting on a stone seat." "Who found the body?" Tremaine said. Even with Jean's scarf and the hot drink, he was feeling the cold, pacing on the spot to keep the circulation going, to stop his feet from freezing. His sergeant had fur-lined boots. He didn't, just the usual black leather brogues. He wasn't a man for fashion or for dressing sensibly. "I did," a voice from behind said. "And you are? You know me, Inspector. One of Salisbury's finest reprobates and a world-class jerk. That's 2 out of 3, Maloney. What's number 3? "Mr. Malone is a witness," Claire said, surprised by Tremaine insulting the man. "Take no notice, Sergeant," the 60-year-old very